I got a call from a referral partner friend of mine who I haven't actually spoken to in a very long time, and saying a friend of mine, and they were sitting next to her, urgently needs your help. His website is a mess. It's a floral shop, and no one's able to access the website at the moment. Can you help? And we tried to assist them because no one could literally find the website online. Yeah, so that's a recent issue that we resolved for a client. If the website is not loading or working, or people are not able to find the website, then they literally can't make any money. And if they can't make money, then they can't pay the employees. If they can't pay the employees, then those employees might have families that depend on them.
Welcome to Meet My Business, the podcast where real businesses tell their real stories. And sitting here next to me today is Russell Lunda. Russell, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Russell, tell me about you, who you are as a person.
Sure. Where do I start? I'm a father of a beautiful little girl in Bali. I'm a husband. I'm a brother to 4 siblings. I have both my parents. I'm still lucky to have them still around. My extended family, as I like to call them now, lives in Durban, but I was originally born in Congo and moved to South Africa when I was just 11 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And personality-wise, you're an outgoing person, a more introvert?
I like to think I'm outgoing, but every now and then I like to have my private time as well, and just quiet time, chilling and not doing much. But most of the time on a Saturday, you'll find me hiking. You'll find me trying out new coffee shops and new spots, and trying to figure out what to buy for my wife, etc., etc. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Faith is also very important to me as well.
Tell me, what does a typical day in your life look like?
My wife would say that I'm a morning person. So I normally wake up around 4 or 5 a.m., have my cup of coffee, and I like to catch up on work in the morning before clients call me, before messages are sent at me, before I start getting emails. So I catch up on a lot of work in the mornings. And by 8 o'clock, I start dealing and putting out fires for clients now. Going to meeting, reaching out to new customers, etc., etc. By the afternoon, I come back home. I look after my baby because my wife has probably had a full day with her by then. And in the evening, we probably watch something together as a family. Not my daughter, though. I'm trying not to get addicted to TV. But other than that, we spend some time together, and I'm usually in bed by 8 o'clock or so because I've had a very long day by then.
How did you end up doing what you're doing? Was it accidental or did you plan it?
Definitely not planned. In fact, I have a background in software development. So I studied software development. And during my study years, I needed to find ways to pay for my studies, and taught myself how to design websites because that was the quickest thing that I think I could learn at the time. And so I taught myself how to design websites from YouTube. It also helped my studies because there was a lot of like coding that needed to be done when you're designing a website. And so I did that for a while, and I finished my studies, started working for a short period as a software developer. But I still will design websites for people here and there, so family, friends. And that started expanding, and I started getting more people recommending and referring me. And it got to a point where I would actually, at some point, earn more money from my side hustle than my actual full-time job. And so I decided, you know what, if I give this a little bit more attention and effort, I can make something out of it.
Imagine I know absolutely nothing about what you do. Explain to me what you do, please.
I help businesses find success online. So if you want customers, I help customers find you through online marketing. whether that being Facebook ads, Google ads, websites, or SEO. We make sure that people who are looking online on Google can find you properly.
And what do the people closest to you say that you do?
Most of them have no idea. I was trying to explain to my wife initially what I did, and she couldn't get it. But if I had to put it in a sentence, I would say I help people find success online.
And how did you start? Why did you start the business?
Obviously, it was to pay for my studies. I don't come from a well-off background. My parents are not rich or anything of that sort. And to help pay for my studies, I needed to find a way to make money and pay for it. And web design was probably the closest thing that I could do. But aside from that, I genuinely feel like I make an impact in people's lives. And I'll give you an example. I had a client of mine who was an alcoholic, and his alcoholism, if that's the right word, got worse when the business wasn't doing so well. And so we tried to find ways to get him success online. We did a lot of training. We did a lot of changes on the website. We refreshed a lot of things to kind of get more people to start buying from him. And the better the business got, the better he started feeling, because I think it was a stress thing when your business is not doing so well. And at some point, he stopped drinking. And I don't like to think that I had a lot to do with it, but I'd like to think that I helped somehow.
Starting this as a student, at what point did you turn it into a business, a proper registered business?
So I registered my business in 2017, but I had a full-time job then. And I wanted to be compliant, and I think that was the very important thing. I wanted to be compliant, and I wanted to be professional. And so when people would inquire, I didn't want to send them my personal banking details. I wanted to send them an actual business account. And so the business was registered then, but I only kind of went in full time in 2019, July of 2019 to be precise. So that's when I formalized the business and tried to be formally trading all the time. There was a point where I moved. So I'm originally from Durban. Well, I'd like to think I'm from Durban. I grew up there. I moved from Durban to Pretoria in July of 2022, just after the looting happened in KZN.
Oh, okay.
So I moved from there to Pretoria, and most of my business was still in Durban. Most of my clients were still in Durban. That adjustment period was really tough for me. There was a point where I gave up, and I was like, let me go back home. I didn't have to pay rent there. Yeah, so that's just one of the many instances where I felt like giving up. But such is life, though. You can't give up when things get tough.
So what motivated you to keep going?
I have a lot of people that depend on me. And they were probably the biggest motivators. So at that point, my sister was in university, and I was helping pay for her studies. If I'd given up, then she wouldn't have finished her studies. And she's doing really well now. So thank goodness I didn't.
So you're saying family pressure keeps you in the
Not
business?
just family pressure, responsibility, if I have to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I cherish. I love the fact that I have responsibilities. Not to say that I only do things because I'm responsible, but I like to help people. And I'm a big believer that if you invest in something today, you'll reap the rewards of it in future. And so with my sister and my siblings, if they are able to get a good education and have a good job, then they might be less dependent on me in future. So that's kind of the idea that's behind it, I guess.
I imagine over the years, you've obviously learned a lot about doing business and the skill that you need for designing websites and so on. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what do you know now that you didn't know then?
Invest in systems and relationships. I'm a big believer that good and great businesses are built with good systems, and you scale a business if you have systems in place, not just in your mind, but written down, or a CRM system, whatever system you want to use, but have processes and systems in place. And invest in relationships with people. As much as you might be good at what you do, it's important to know that there are people who can get you in rooms where you wouldn't otherwise be in.
And over the past 7 or so years, what about your business has surprised you the most?
How much I've adapted to the industry and how much the industry has changed. I'm going to talk about AI in particular. When we started hearing about AI, I was like, I'm done. Like, it can build a website, it can do this, and that. That's my job. But we've kind of integrated it into our systems. I guess that kind of surprised me, of how we evolved from just doing a lot of manual work to now using AI to get our stuff done.
And how quickly that happened.
Yes, yeah, it's very scary.
Because I was still like, no, I'm never going to use that. A week later, I was like knee deep in ChatGPT at the time. And talking about AI, how has that changed that findability factor?
It has definitely impacted it. We have to pitch differently to clients now because of AI. Because previously we would say, okay, we're going to do A, B, and C so that clients are able to find you better. But with AI, we kind of have to change our strategy. You can say, okay, clients are looking for you on ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, whichever AI people are using. We can make sure that you fall part of the conversation when clients are searching for you there. So the pitch, I think, is slightly different because of the integration with AI.
And who is your ideal client?
Businesses that depend on Google a lot. So think of plumbers. Actually, when you are in trouble and you need something or someone today, in the next hour, or not tomorrow, those kinds of services are ideal clients for me, because unlike accountants and lawyers who you need to trust, with service-based businesses like your pest control and cleaning company, etc., people want results here and there, and those businesses also need to have some level of online presence and online visibility and trust.
Now, I come to you. I'm brand new, your first-time client here, and explain to me what the process is going to be like working with you.
Okay, the first step is discovery. So what is it that you need, and how can we help you get there? The next step is us figuring out by ourselves how we can best get you there. So we do a lot of online research, competitor analysis. We look at your website, etc., and give you a proposal to say, this is what we can do for you, and this is how much it's going to cost. Now, based on that proposal, you then get to decide if working with us is worthwhile for you or it's not. If it is, then we get started. If it's not, then that's not really good for me, is it?
And okay, so you've explained what you do. What experience does the client have through that process?
You have to imagine the mindset of a client when they come to you. It's usually because someone else messed up. So they're very stressed and worried, and they're trying to figure out whether or not you are like the others that they've trusted before, or you are like them for clients who actually try to do things by themselves. And so convincing them that we are a good fit is the first step. And then afterwards, we found that when we report and give them regular updates of the status of their work, or the status of their websites, or how much traffic they're getting, etc., they feel more at ease. And clients are different. Some have different personalities. Some don't care as long as they see people walk through the door, they are fine. But some want you to give them a weekly, daily report of what's happening with their website. So it's important in the discovery phase to know how they would like to be communicated, how often they want to be communicated, and based on that, what deliverables we can give them.
And what is it that you do that's different to your competition?
We meet the clients where they are. We understand that not all businesses are at the same level. Not all businesses can afford the same things. And so we try to customize our packages as much as possible for the regular client. So if you're just starting out and you can't afford 10,000 to be spending on ads on a monthly basis, we have a conversation with you and say, okay, with 200 Rand per day for a week work, if you start, if you don't see results within the week, then it's not worthwhile for you. If you do, let's progress to a month, 3 months, 6 months, and build a relationship with you like that. So we meet the clients where they are.
I'm sure people come with some misconceptions, not quite clear as to what your service offering is. What are those kind of misconceptions that people have about what you do?
And I had this the other day where a client came to me and they said that the PDF on the computer was not working. I'm not an IT person. So it's certain services that we don't provide. But because to them it falls under IT, they assume that we provide those services as well. So that would be one of the biggest misconceptions. And the other is the expectation in terms of results. A lot of people want results like yesterday. I'm paying you today. The work that I paid you for needs to be done tomorrow or next week. If it's not, then we have an issue. So that's probably one of the bigger misconceptions that some clients have.
Let's talk about benefits. What changes for a client after working with you? Not what you did, but what is different for them?
They have a healthier bank balance. I like to think so. They are maybe able to spend more time with their family because the business is doing better. They're able to grow and scale their business because there's growth in the business. So those would be some of the benefits that I think our clients get.
And what would a client tell you for you to know that you got it right?
Can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
I have a client of mine who was a doctor in Hatfield, and the other day during our consultation, he's a very quick person. So he'll greet you, how are you, and then move on to business. So he's not a very chatty person. And a few weeks ago, I actually went to his office and I showed him the reports of how the website is doing. And he's saying, no, it's cool. I can actually see people coming in. And Russell, I'm so glad I met you. So that would be it for me. A client that sees what their business was and what it is now and is grateful that they met me and is optimistic for how much growth the business can have in future.
People sometimes walk around with blind spots. They don't see their own shortcomings or their own problems and so on. Is that something you can do, something you can see and that the client doesn't necessarily see?
Yeah, well, you can gauge pretty quickly what kind of person you're dealing with. And so in conversations, and a lot of the clients that I deal with are people who have had digital marketers before and had a horrible experience and don't understand the part that they played in the results of that. And so some clients would come to you with a very vivid idea of what they want to do, the keywords that they want you to target, the location, etc., etc. And when you have a conversation with them, you quickly figure out that that's not right. So an example would be someone who is looking for people to buy, but they're spending a lot of ad revenue on Instagram or Facebook which is like, it's not a problem. You're more than welcome to spend money on that, but you're not going to get as quick of a return on your investment on social media rather than Google. So some clients would spend a lot of money on places and want you to run ads on places where they're not seeing a good return on the investment, and then blame you when things are not going well. So it's important to kind of stop them in the tracks and say, this is not the best place for you to be spending your money. Can we put a lot more energy here? See how that works out. If not, then we can try to do things your way.
I'm sure there's one client that stands out above the rest, somebody who did really well because of your service. Tell me that story.
There's still a client actually till today. It's a dentist in Pretoria, and they started off as a one-man team, just them, but now they own a couple of branches. We just created a lot of visibility for them online.
Mm-hmm.
We advised them on what to do in terms of the design of their website, and from there we advised them and actually did the work on the type of reviews that they need to be looking out for their customers, how often we should ask the customers for reviews, what to do when you get a bad review. And it's important to know that not everyone who comes to you and to your business will be happy with your services, but how you respond to those reviews become critical. So that's what we did.
And if a client decides, no, I'm not going to use your service, I'm going to solve this problem by myself, what would happen if they try to do that without you?
They would be spending their time on something that is not worth it. If you're a doctor, your time is better spent working on your patients. If you are a business owner for a flower shop, or you own a cleaning company, your time is better spent managing your team or looking after the admin of your business and a bunch of different activities that you could be doing. Don't spend your valuable time, your very valuable times, on activities that you can easily get an expert to do, rather than yourself.
Let's get back to that opening story.
We found out what the problem was pretty quickly and resolved it very fast. And within 40 minutes, the website was back online.
What was the problem?
The website was not kept updated. And so that's it's funny, because most websites in South Africa are built on WordPress, and WordPress constantly is going through updates. And if you don't update your WordPress version, then hackers are more likely to hack your website. And so we try to update it and keep it up to date. If that's not done, then you get a similar situation to that client of mine who couldn't sell because their website was not loading properly.
So what I'm hearing is they had a huge problem and the solution was quite easy, but they couldn't solve it. Only you could.
Well, not only me. I think anyone who knows how to fix such a simple problem should be able to. But I guess that also comes with experience. Yeah.
Is that a typical problem that people have? Or
you'll be surprised how often it happens.
Yeah? So what does a story like that remind you about why you do what you do?
That I'm actually making an impact in people's life. That it's not just about the money, that at the end of the day, when I go back home and play with my daughter, or spend time with my wife, that I have some purpose in this world, that I made an impact in someone's life, even if it was just a tiny thing that I did, that I had an impact somehow.
Where do people find you and how do they find you online?
They can visit our website, www.akaweb, with an S at the end, .co.za, or they can find us on social media, akaweb.co.za.
Okay. And what do you want somebody to do when they land on your website?
Give me a call. Yeah, just call me. Hey, Russell, I saw you. I heard that you can help my business. I would love to grab a cup of coffee. I love meeting people face to face and having a conversation rather than leaving it at a phone call.
And if there's one last piece of advice you can give to our listener or our viewer here about what they need to do.
spend time on things that will give you the better return on your investment, and leave things to the experts, certain things to the experts. And I'll take the same advice, because there's certain things in my business that I don't need to be doing. I can simply get an expert in to fix it.
And here's the expert when it comes to websites. And that is exactly why stories like this need to be told. Thank you so much for being so open about your journey today. If what you heard today resonated with you and you want to find out more about the business we discussed today, every guest we've ever had on Meet My Business, their business name, episode number and direct link lives in one place. Head over to baird.media/meetmybusiness.